Welcome to my channel, The World of Science Fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Marin Howley had lived on the alien trade world of Thalira 9 for almost a full cycle. Yet every day on this strange planet reminded him that he did not belong here. The towering buildings, the humming purple lights, the cold mechanical wind blowing from the ventilation towers, everything felt designed for someone larger, stronger, and entirely different from him. He worked long hours at the docks, carrying crates meant for machines twice his size, earning wages that barely kept him alive. Every night, he hoped he could save enough credits to pay the rent on time. Every morning, he woke up realizing he had failed again. But nothing worried him as much as the thunderous footsteps shaking the floor that day. Marin had heard rumors about alien landlords and how their patience ran thin with humans. But nothing prepared him for the massive shadow now blocking the doorway of his tiny apartment. And nothing prepared him for her commander Valera of the Thalirian High Guard. She stepped inside with slow, deliberate movement, her towering form bending slightly so her horns did not scrape the ceiling. Her golden eyes glowed like molten metal as they locked onto Marin. She did not need weapons. Her voice alone was sharper than any blade. She said his name slowly, tasting every syllable like a judge, preparing to give a verdict. The room felt colder instantly. Marin tried to explain, tried to gather courage, but his voice cracked at the worst possible moment. Valera did not blink. Her expression remained carved from stone as she took a single step closer, and the apartment floor creaked under her enormous weight. She lowered her head until her giant face hovered just inches above his. And that was when she said the words that chilled him more than any winter night. "So, you say you can't pay your rent?" Marin swallowed hard. The shame hit him first, then the fear. Rent to a Thalirian was not a simple agreement. It was a contract of honor. Failure meant disrespect. Disrespect meant consequences humans did not survive. He tried to explain that he worked double shifts, that wages were low, that humans on Thalera 9 were struggling everywhere. But Valera raised one huge hand, silencing him instantly. She studied him not with irritation, but with unsettling curiosity. Her voice became low and smooth as she asked him why humans were always struggling, always failing, always complaining. Marin wanted to argue. Instead, he simply lowered his head. He felt powerless, smaller than he had ever felt before. But Valera did not look proud of intimidating him. In fact, she looked conflicted, as if something bothered her deeply behind. Her stern appearance. Then she stepped away and looked around his small apartment. Her eyes scanned every corner, every piece of worn-out furniture, every broken item held together with tape and hope. Something in her hardened expression melted for just a second. She asked him when he last ate, how many hours he slept, and why humans were living in such terrible conditions. Marin didn't understand why she suddenly cared. Valera explained the truth slowly. She wasn't here only to collect rent. She was sent by the Thalirian High Council to observe a problem spreading across the district. Humans were disappearing. Humans were being removed. Humans were being blamed for disrupting alien order. She was here to decide whether humans were still fit to remain on this planet. Marin's heart dropped as he realized the rent issue was only a disguise, a test to see how he reacted under pressure. She needed to know if he was weak or worth saving. Marin felt anger rise inside him. Not the reckless anger of someone wanting to fight, but the quiet anger of someone tired of carrying an unfair burden. He told her humans weren't failing because they were lazy. They were failing because the system was designed to crush them. Valera stared at him for a long moment. Then something unexpected happened. She smiled. Not a kind smile, but an impressed one. She admitted that very few humans dared tell a Thalirian the truth. That courage alone made him interesting. She then revealed the first shocking twist. She could erase his rent debt entirely, but only if he helped her investigate. The disappearances of humans. Marin stepped back, stunned. He was just a worker, not some hero. But Valera insisted. She believed someone high in the alien government was helping a radical faction called the Purifiers, a group that believed humans were contaminating Thalirian culture and wanted them erased. Marin felt the fear tighten around his throat. He asked her quietly, "Why me?" Valera lowered herself until her enormous face filled his vision and said, "Because you are still standing. Many humans have already given up." Her words pierced him deeper than threats ever could. And with that, he understood something important. She wasn't just testing him. She was warning him. If he refused, the Purifiers would take him sooner or later. If he accepted, he would be under Valera's protection, or thrown into a dangerous political storm. Marin took a long breath. He felt his hands tremble, but he nodded. He had nothing left to lose. Valera straightened herself proudly and handed him a small metal emblem engraved with alien symbols. It glowed softly as it touched his skin. She told him this marked him as under command, meaning no one could harm him without facing her directly. It felt heavy, like responsibility and safety all at once. Marin finally felt a thin spark of hope ignite in his chest. But that hope lasted only seconds. The walls suddenly shook from a massive explosion. The lights flickered violently. The smell of smoke filled the apartment as alarms began blaring outside. Valera's expression changed instantly from calm to battle-ready. She shoved Marin behind her massive armored body as debris rained from the ceiling. She told him someone had detected her visit. Someone was afraid of her forming alliances with humans. The Purifiers wanted to erase witnesses, starting with him. She carried Marin out through the collapsing hallway, her enormous hands shielding him as fire spread across the building. The night outside was filled with chaos drones flying overhead, scanning the streets, searching for survivors or targets. Marin clung to her as panic consumed the crowd. Everything familiar around him burned. Everything safe was gone. Valera set him down carefully behind a large transport container. Her voice, though heavy with urgency, carried an unexpected warmth. She told him the truth. She didn't choose him randomly. She had been watching him for weeks, observing how he never stopped trying, even when life crushed him. She believed he had the strength humans needed to survive on this planet. Marin felt emotion choke him. She saw strength in him when he could barely see it in himself. For the first time since he arrived on Thalira 9, someone believed in him. He looked up at her with a mixture of fear and determination. He was ready. Valera grabbed her weapon, a massive energy blade humming with blue light, and looked into the darkness where the Purifiers hid. She told Marin that tonight was not the end. This was only the beginning. The threat was bigger than rent, bigger than poverty, bigger than him. Humanity was being hunted, and she refused to let that continue. Marin stepped beside her, trembling, but unbroken. A human and a towering alien warrior, standing together against something far more dangerous than either understood. The night winds blew across the battlefield, forming ahead, carrying smoke, sparks, and destiny. Their fight for justice, for survival, for humanity was about to begin. If you enjoyed this story and want more epic HFY sci-fi tales, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter.